Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is going to be the post-fight for UFC 271, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2 for the middleweight title. As you guys know, when I do these live post-fights, I kind of go through the results, give my opinion without really reading the chat too much. And then towards like the second half of this video, of this stream, I will be answering all your guys' questions. So because sometimes there's a lot of chat going on, some of the chat might expire. So towards the second half of this video, I will get to your guys' questions. As always, don't forget to like the stream. If you're watching the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I do these post fights all the time, the live ones in particular for the big pay-per-view cards. But I think that's pretty much it for the beginning. Let's talk about the main event. I think a lot of people want to hear my opinion on this. Israel Adesanya defeats Robert Whittaker via unanimous decision, and you know, I said in the members only Discord chat that before this fight started, I said controversial Izzy decision incoming, or imagine if that happened, something to that effect. And I have a feeling this is the second pay-per-view in the world. Second pay-per-view in a row. I don't know why I say in the world. Second pay-per-view in a row that people are really going to be disgruntled about this decision. And I think it has to do, a lot with it being close, but also a little bit of bias by some people. Obviously this was a close fight, but for me personally, I had it scored either 3-2 for Adesanya, but I really lean towards I had it 4-1 Adesanya, and I have to go back and rewatch it. Obviously, this is a live reaction, but let me just say this. Regardless of who you had the fight scored for, this was not a robbery, okay? Robbery is being thrown around left and right nowadays where, people are saying every fight's a robbery. If the decision doesn't go the way you think it should have went, it's now all of a sudden a robbery. And people are using it too loosely. A robbery is a fight where a fighter wins who had absolutely no business winning. And this was a close fight. And Israel Adesanya retains his middleweight title. Let me go through it a little bit round by round. I have some notes here. The first round was the most clear-cut round in the entire fight. Adesanya started off, he looked very good. I told you guys I was very interested to see the first minute of the fight because I was genuinely curious where Robert Whittaker's game plan would be. And, right away, we've seen exactly what we thought. We thought that he would definitely come in with a more conservative game plan, and that's exactly what he did in this fight. So let's score it round by round. I'll tell you exactly kind of what I have, a quick recap of the main event. Round one, Adesanya came out. He looked really good. He was brutalizing the legs. Whittaker had some decent oblique kicks, had some failed takedown attempts, and then Izzy eventually dropped him with a straight left and hurt him. Didn't really follow up on him. Robert Whittaker kind of popped back up, but he looked to be a little bit hurt when he did pop back up. Then he goes to the corner. In the corner, Robert Whittaker looks absolutely defeated. And I honestly thought after watching that first round that Izzy was going to finish him in the second round. Just seeing the way Robert Whittaker looked on that stool, I just thought that's what was going to happen. Second round came out. Whittaker looked much better in this round. He had a nice takedown. He wasn't able to control him, and that's kind of the, we're going to go over the fight as a whole in a minute. I don't remember exactly what happened in each round other than my notes here and just going off memory. Adesanya was more efficient with his striking. He landed more strikes. He was chewing up the legs. And in this round, in the second round, Whittaker was able to secure a takedown. And I could see an audible change in Israel Adesanya's demeanor. And we talked about it leading up to this fight. You don't have to take a guy and hold him down to be able to achieve effective grappling. And I saw from the moment Whittaker was able to get him down that first time, a difference in Israel Adesanya striking. And I really think that was a key factor in the fight because he had Adesanya now thinking about the takedown. We'll go over that a little bit more after I go through it round by round. I scored round 2 for Adesanya as well. Round 3, Izzy was being, pumping the jab. He was landing some body kicks. Rob Whittaker timed a perfectly timed takedown on Adesanya, and Adesanya somehow stuffed it. Then eventually he'd end up getting a good takedown. I think he caught a kick or something like that. And again, story of the fight, not able to keep him here. Now, round 3 was pretty close, but again, Izzy was chopping the legs, pumping the jab, landing some hard body kicks, and Whittaker was just really, leaping in with that left hook. I gave that round to Izzy as well. So at this point, I have Izzy up, 3 rounds to none at this point, going into the 4th round. And I'm always curious, guys. Leave your opinion in the chat. I'm going to try to read to some of it, but some of the chat disappears because so many messages end up in there. But I'll get to, all the questions at the end. And when I'm answering questions, then you can fill the chat with questions. But don't forget to like the stream as well, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Even if you disagree with my scoring, I'm just here giving you my opinion. But don't forget to like the stream. I really appreciate it. It helps push this out to more people, and we can grow the post-fight each and every pay-per-view. 4th round. This was a very close round. In this round, I had Adesanya outstriking him again, landing some more body kicks, landing the jab. Not a very eventful round at all. And I think Whittaker got him down in this round as well, but not able to control him. I can't remember. There were so many different takedowns in this fight. Whittaker did a good job getting him down, but he just wasn't able to control him, and I knew that was going to be the case. And then in the 5th round, Whittaker actually landed some good shots with the left hand. He was able to take him down twice. I think this was the round he got his back for a brief moment. I might be mistaken on that. And also controlled him in the clinch against the cage. And I thought round 5 was a clear round to Robert Whittaker. So round 1 was a clear round to Adesanya. Round 5 was a clear round to Whittaker. And then I thought 2 through 4 were pretty close, but I definitely give 2 and 3 to Adesanya. And 4 I gave to Adesanya in real time, but I could understand how people could give it to Whittaker. So I either have it 4-1 Adesanya or 3-2 Adesanya, one way or another. And I know people, hold on a second. I know a lot of people are going to look at this fight and say, oh, Adesanya got the takedowns and he clearly won the fight. And then somebody's probably going to say, well, you thought Francis Ngannou won the decision against Cyril Gane because of the takedowns. The story of this fight was Whittaker not being able to control Israel Adesanya on the ground. He never controlled him for more than maybe 20 seconds. He was able to get a lot of takedowns, but just not able to control him. And then Adesanya was landing more strikes. He was pumping the jab. He was landing the right hands. He was defending some of the other shots. And I just think that was, that's the basis of the fight. Adesanya's shown when you're not willing to put incredible pressure on him, most likely it's not going to be the most exciting fight. And I know a lot of people kind of say, because Adesanya's last few fights haven't been particularly entertaining, oh, Adesanya is such a boring fighter, this and that. Have you guys forgot about the first Robert Whittaker fight? Have you guys forgot about the Anderson Silva fight? Have you guys forgot about the Kelvin Gastelum fight? Have you guys forgot about the Paulo Costa fight? I know these last 2 fights last 3 really haven't been particularly exciting, but Adesanya historically has had a lot of exciting fights. But I get this fight, it wasn't the best fight. It was really technical. Neither guy wanted to make a mistake. Adesanya, I told you guys in the build-up, Adesanya is best when you are pressing him backwards. And if he has to be the guy to move forward to win the fight, he's just not able to be as effective as he is if you're pressuring him. He's primarily a counter striker, and he's just not able to deal with it if you're just kind of waiting there for him. We've seen it in the old Romero fight. We've seen how boring that was. And that was because in that fight, Yoel Romero was just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But honestly, the entire fight was just consistent of Whittaker not being able to hold him down. He was getting takedowns, not being able to hold him down. And then it was Adesanya really chewing up that lead leg. And then Whittaker just wasn't being active enough. And I know exactly why he was gun shy. People were saying, oh, why is Whittaker only throwing, 1-2 punch combinations? It's because of what happened in that first fight. He doesn't want to get countered and slept by Izzy. And in that first round, he got hurt badly by that straight left right through the guard. I would have liked to see both guys more active. I said that in the members only Discord chat. But again, I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm not in there. It's easier said than done. It's easy for us, everyone in the chat, me, making YouTube videos to say, well, Robert Whittaker should have put more pressure on him. Yeah, it's easy to say that when it's not your chin on the line. So I think it was a much improved Robert Whittaker. I thought it was a Robert Whittaker that came in with a smart game plan. I made a video the other day saying, what Robert Whittaker or how Robert Whittaker defeats Israel Adesanya at UFC 271. And within this video, I said Robert Whittaker cannot be scared to make this fight boring. He cannot be scared to make it boring, and he was not. And I know Robert Whittaker after the fight said, that he thought he'd done enough to win, but he wasn't letting his hands go enough. He wasn't landing enough strikes. Throughout the whole fight, I remember him landing maybe a decent 3 left hands, 4 left hands. He had a couple of oblique kicks throughout the fight, but it's just the length and the height of Israel Adesanya was a little bit too much for him, and that's really what happened. And I think also people forget Robert Whittaker is a former welterweight, and as a former welterweight, he's naturally smaller than Israel Adesanya, and it's just the game plan is to get Adesanya down and hold him down. That's the ideal game plan. And if you don't have the size and strength to do it, it's just not going to happen. There was a couple moments Robert Whittaker, had his back. There were some scrambles. There were some positions where Adesanya used a Kimura to get out of the clinch with Robert Whittaker. He was doing very well in the clinch, but it just wasn't enough. You have Jan Blachowicz, who's 230 pounds on fight night, at least probably. And then you have Robert Whittaker, who's probably about, probably not even 200, maybe 200 at best on fight night. So it's just not the same level of size and strength. And Adesanya is clearly the more physical guy, stronger guy. And within this fight, it showed quite a bit. And again, it wasn't the most exciting fight. I didn't enjoy it a whole lot. I mean, I had fun watching it. Don't get me wrong. Watching a live fight is, that has huge stakes is a lot of fun. But neither guy was particularly aggressive. Neither guy really showed that they really wanted it. Israel Adesanya was acting as if, he had put on this world-class performance afterwards, which kind of put me off a little bit. And then on top of that, I'll tell you this right now, with some of the judging in Texas, I would have not been confident as Israel Adesanya going into that decision. Now, also, I want to say Robert Whittaker, I know he said he thought he did enough to win. I don't think he really believed that. He did not seem like he thought he did enough to win in between rounds, after the fight immediately ended. And also, even so, within that fight, his corner at the end of the 4th round said, "You are losing this fight. You need to stop him," I believe. Something along those lines. I have to go back and rewatch it. I only seen it one time. I watched it live. It's hard to, really digest the full fight watching it live. That's something that we'll probably rewatch this fight tomorrow in the members only Discord. If you guys want to become a member of the channel, the link is down below. We have a members only Discord. It's $3 a month. It doesn't cost much. You get a badge next to your name as well as custom emojis. But it's a fight that I would like to rewatch. It's a fight that I would like to rescore, but I like to get on here immediately and give you guys my post-fight thoughts. And Robert Whittaker just didn't do enough to win. I thought Adesanya, regardless of how you score round 4, because I think 5 is clearly Robert Whittaker's round. Regardless of how you score round 4, I think 1, 2, and 3 were clearly Izzy. Just chopping the leg alone. He had good, effective striking, wasn't particularly aggressive, was landing more with the hands. And again, I know, maybe I could probably pull up some stats and try to back this up. I don't believe those stats at all. I don't trust those people taking those stats. So even if I could pull up in rounds 1 through 4, Adesanya outstruck Robert Whittaker, I don't necessarily believe this. But also, this was a good, that's probably the wrong word to use. But Whittaker showed in this fight he was much more improved. And, he was able to get the takedown, just not able to cement the position. That was the big problem. If Whittaker could get takedowns and was able to control him on the ground, he would have been able to win this fight, but he just wasn't able to. Even the one takedown, I said in the pre-fight, Whittaker has to get takedowns in the center of the cage if he wants to control Adesanya. Adesanya loves to use the cage, not only to defend the takedowns, but also to get back up onto his feet after being taken down. And I think there was one takedown close to the center of the cage, and Adesanya immediately started getting back to his feet. Then Whittaker kind of had him in a weird one hook back mount, and then eventually Izzy just started moving as hard as he possibly could over to the cage, eventually breaks the hands. At the end of the day, I think this was 2 of the best middleweight fighters in the world going at it. Neither one of these guys wanted to lose the fight. And, this is what happens. But I'll tell you this right now, and I know maybe some of you guys, it's not going to be a popular opinion, but on this channel, we can disagree as long as we disagree respectively. If we're not disagreeing respectfully, then, we don't need you on the channel, and if you want to tell me you thought Whittaker won, I'm more than happy to listen to it and see why. I'm going to read questions and comments after this. And, but, I think if you're saying you're confident that Whittaker won, I think that's a bit of a stretch. But I understand that this was a close fight. And going into the scorecards, I really thought that, I would not trust the Texas scorecard keepers, especially with some controversial decisions, early in the fight. It was completely controversial. As far as the commentary goes, because you guys know I always talk about the biased commentary with Israel Adesanya, I thought, they weren't completely terrible tonight. I don't think they were good. I never think they're good. I thought they let on that it was more of a domination than it actually was. But then they kept kind of hedging their bets by saying all of a sudden that it was a close fight. So it was a little bit of both. It was weird. They were kind of contradicting themselves. I'm curious to see what you guys think. But let's move on to the co-main event. I don't want to spend too much time on the main event. We talked about it. Not particularly exciting. Israel Adesanya, I believe, clearly won this fight. But I do not think by any means it's ludicrous to think that Whittaker could have had a chance. But taking guys down for 10 seconds at a time doesn't win you a fight. And then not landing much on the feet does not win you a fight, in my opinion. Okay, so let's move on to Derrick Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa. What an absolute crazy fight. Round 2 KO for Tai Tuivasa. I actually went on this main card. I only did 3 prediction videos, but in the members only Discord, I told you guys my predictions for the other 2 fights on the main card. I went 4-1 in this fight. The one fight I got wrong was Derrick Lewis. I picked Derrick Lewis by first round KO. One thing I want to talk about in this fight is early on, Tai Tuivasa was very smart. He looked for the clinch, and Big Dan Miragliotta needs to be fired or he needs to be held accountable for breaking up the clinch when Tai Tuivasa is trying to work. I don't know what he was doing. They were only there for 10 seconds. Tai Tuivasa is clearly trying to drain Derrick Lewis a little bit, clearly trying to weigh on the arms and kind of, lower that threat of the power from Derrick Lewis. And Big Dan, they're there for 5 seconds, and Big Dan is like, okay, let's break them up. Before I even get into this co-main event, let me go do a poll in the chat real quick. I want to do a poll in the chat so I can see the results when I'm done talking about the card. Who won the main event? I'm going to do a poll real quick. And guys, don't forget to like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. Israel Adesanya. Let's take a poll in the chat. Robert Whittaker. Okay. I'm going to ask that poll, and then I'm going to read the results when I get back. There was a point in the clinch where Derrick Lewis got a takedown on Tai Tuivasa. And I have to rewatch it. The replay didn't really show what I thought I saw. But Tai Tuivasa just posts on his hand, does not block at all, and lets Derrick Lewis just tee off with right hands. I thought for a second Tai Tuivasa got flash KO'd and then woke him back up with a right hand. But he survives the round, cleared 10-9 for Derrick Lewis in the first round. Then in the second round, it was a little bit of the clinch work. Then eventually Derrick Lewis lands some good shots on Tai Tuivasa. He starts rushing in, kind of looking for the finish. Tai Tuivasa clips him up a little bit. Then if Robert Whittaker was kind of, not Robert Whittaker, Derrick Lewis was a little bit weird. You could tell he was hurt badly. And then he clipped him with 2 hard shots in the clinch. And then Derrick Lewis really looked out on his feet. And then there was a brutal elbow from Tai Tuivasa. And Derrick Lewis just went face forward into the ground. And, this was a fine stoppage because Tai Tuivasa did not follow up. But in this fight, Big Dan Miragliotta was just staring at Tai Tuivasa. Derrick Lewis's dead body for a little bit. Was just staring at it, And Tai Tuivasa could have landed 2-3 punches, followed up, and been really brutalizing to Derrick Lewis. But luckily for Derrick Lewis, he did not. So I don't know what Big Dan was doing. But Tai Tuivasa, my takeaways from this fight. Tai Tuivasa, what an absolute chin on that guy. He took hard shots from Derrick Lewis. He had super fast hands. We can tell that he has a bit of fight IQ because he didn't come in there as much as everybody wanted him to. He did not come in there and try to slug it out. I mean, a little bit he did, but he tried to wear on Derrick Lewis. He tried to wear on those arms and have a decent game plan. He was feinting the leg kicks. He really didn't use as many leg kicks as I thought he would within this fight. But Tai Tuivasa had a smart game plan. He took a decent amount of damage. What a chin. That's my biggest takeaway. And Tai Tuivasa is legit. I mean, you guys know that I think that the heavyweight division is the worst men's division within the UFC. But Tai Tuivasa deserves to be up there with that top 5 guys. I'm not currently looking at the rankings, but I believe he belongs up there. Derrick Lewis was ranked number 3 going into this fight. Tai Tuivasa might take a spot. I don't know if he does, but either way, he will be right up there. There's a big fight coming up for Tai Tuivasa, regardless of who it is. Now Derrick Lewis drops 2 in a row. That's pretty insane. I don't know where he goes from here. Advanced age. I don't think he ever wants to fight in Texas again after getting KO'd both times in Texas. But Tai Tuivasa, awesome hand speed, great chin, and great fight IQ in this fight. You got to respect it. I picked against him. I doubted him. I said, he gets rocked in every other fight he's been in. And against Derrick Lewis, you don't get rocked. You get put to sleep. So great win for Tai Tuivasa. You got to respect it. I'll get some, maybe this week, I'll get some more in-depth analysis on some of these fights because I don't want to spend, 50 minutes going over the fights and then, you not have enough time for all your guys' questions and comments. But again, great win for Tai Tuivasa. Puts him in a great place. And I like what he was doing in the fight. I like what he was doing. Like he showed his fight IQ a little bit. He wasn't just trying to go out there and slug it out. Derrick Lewis is getting up there in age. He still looks super fast with the kicks. He threw some high kicks. They're blazing fast as always. And I think truly this fight could have went either way. I'm surprised somebody did not go to sleep in that first round. Okay, let's move on to the featured fight on the main card. This one, my pick was absolutely perfect. I had Cannonier by second round KO. And sure enough, Cannonier, second round KO. Great fight. Early in the fight, Brunson was able to get him down. And Cannonier, as I said in my pre-fight, what I saw on tape is that in this fight, in Cannonier's history, when he gets taken down, especially at middleweight, he's able to find his way back to his feet. As Brunson was, moving, as the fight was progressing, Brunson was getting sloppier and sloppier with the takedowns. Eventually, Brunson landed. Hold on, I'm reading some notes here. So let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to remember the first round specifically. I remember the finish, but there were so many crazy fights tonight. It's like my brain is just full of information from all the fights. But Brunson got the early takedown in the first round. Cannonier gets right up pretty much. Then in Brunson's stand up is just so sloppy. But Brunson, because of the fear of the takedown by Cannonier, was able to land some good shots on the feet. I think Cannonier got rocked towards the end of the first round and then almost rear naked choked. So my nose is itching now from my mustache. Let me take a drink, guys. Let me take a drink. The hardest part about doing these live streams is talking. But Cannonier got hurt at the end of the first round and then Brunson almost had his back and almost got the rear naked choke. Goes into the second round. This fight was looking very promising for Derrick Brunson. Gets a shot in the center of the cage, a single leg, drags him to the ground. But Cannonier finds his way back to his feet yet again. And as Brunson starts to get a little bit more tired and a little bit more sloppy than he already is, his striking is just awful striking. Cannonier starts to take advantage of it. They trade fights on the feet. They trade shots on the feet. Cannonier hurts Brunson badly with an elbow, then a back fist. The second the elbow landed, I said, he's out on his feet. I knew he was done. He chases him down. Eventually, Brunson just shoots for a desperation takedown. And Cannonier kind of reverses him. They end up on the ground together. And Cannonier just lets loose some of the most brutal elbows I've seen since Yoel Romero versus Lyoto Machida. I couldn't remember the opponent for a second. Yoel Romero versus Lyoto Machida had some brutal elbows. Jared Cannonier versus Derek Brunson had some brutal elbows, and it was great of Jared Cannonier to lose that first round, then immediately get taken down the second round starts, and it wasn't looking good for him. It was looking like, is Brunson going to cruise to a decision here with effective grappling? You know, even if Cannonier can get up, if he can control him for a little bit, it started to look like Brunson was going to win this fight. But of course, the striking in the chin of Brunson always comes back to haunt him. You know, he's took on a lot of guys, a lot of up-and-coming talent, but Jared Cannonier is one of the top guys in the division. I didn't think it was going to work against him. And what a brutal finish by Jared Cannonier. The referee, I can't remember who the referee was in this fight. A little bit late on this one. The corner of Brunson, one thing I want to applaud is the throwing in of the towel. The referee was already stopping it, but his corner threw in the towel. From the second that elbow connected, within the clinch, I believe it was on a clinch break. Brunson was trying to clinch up with him. Brunson was out on his feet, and he landed with the elbow and then threw this like back fist. It wasn't a spinning back fist, but he just threw a back fist, landed right on Brunson's chin, and he just seemed completely gone. They even showed a slow-mo of it. I noticed it right away in real time, but after they showed the slow-mo, you could tell Brunson had no idea where he was. And now Jared Cannonier wins, puts himself in a prime position within the middleweight division. And now, realistically, he's next for Israel Adesanya, which is a little bit unfortunate. That's not the matchup that I particularly want to see, but it's the only matchup. Sean Strickland hasn't earned it. Sean Strickland has not earned a title shot. So Jared Cannonier's next up with a big performance over Derek Brunson. I wonder if now Derek Brunson will now retire. He said he was only going to fight twice more, including Jared Cannonier, so one more time after this. And he gets brutalized like that. If he already has a career outside the cage, why not just go ahead and do that? You know, it's not one of those things where, you know, why? What's the reason? I know he said 2 fights before. It's probably because he was going to get a title shot with a win, but he's not getting a title shot with a win. And I think he might have not got a title shot with a win anyway, especially with his retirement announcement. But Jared Cannonier showed a lot of heart tonight, but it doesn't show me a lot of key factors that makes me like his chances against potentially, against Israel Adesanya. I just don't see the factors that I need to see for him to beat Israel Adesanya. I think Adesanya can outstrike him from the outside, but I think that's the fight that's going to happen. It's an okay fight. I'm not going to cry about it. The division isn't that great right now. We got a couple up-and-coming guys in Nasrat Imavov and Andre Muniz. But Cannonier showed me a lot tonight, but just not techniques that are going to help him against Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is not looking for takedowns. So it doesn't matter that Jared Cannonier can find his way back to his feet. And there's not a lot of grapplers within the middleweight division anyway that are going to try to take you down and hold you down. So even though he showed, that he's able to get back up off his feet against Brunson, and showed the heart and desire that, if he gets taken down and held down, he's not going to be one of these guys that kind of packs it in a little bit and just gets controlled and let them cement the position. So for me, not all that particularly excited about this upcoming fight now because Adesanya said he would like to fight him in June. And then after that, I don't know what goes on with the division. I suspect Adesanya beats Jared Cannonier. There's nothing in any of his fights that showed me that he can defeat Israel Adesanya. So it is what it is. You guys will have to let me know what you think. Let's quickly go over some other fights on the card. Alexander Hernandez versus Renato Moicano. Great fight. Renato Moicano, I predicted him to win. Did not do an official prediction video. I'm going to try to get better about doing more prediction videos for fight cards. Renato Moicano was just better all the way around. Lands the better shots on the feet. And then eventually submits Alexander Hernandez within the second round. And I can't remember. I don't have any notes on this. I can't remember. I got to go back and watch the whole card usually on Sunday, the day after the fight. But yeah, it was a rear naked choke. Did he choke him out cold? I can't remember if I'm mixing that up with another fight. No, he tapped out. He tapped on the knee. He hurt him badly. Then eventually ended up getting the rear naked choke. Great performance by Renato Moicano. He's kind of, rejuvenated his career at 155. Bobby Green versus Nasrat Haqparast. Great win for Bobby Green. I've talked about it a million times. Bobby Green is a guy who can come out and look world-class sometimes, and then other times he can come out and not look particularly good. Not look particularly good at all. And in this fight, he was just The story of the fight was Nasrat holding his guard, not really throwing any strikes, and Bobby Green just slamming straight punches right through the center of the guard, outstriking him, and eventually won the decision against Nasrat. I thought he might finish him. As far as any other fights, I'll quickly talk about Casey O'Neill versus Roxanne Modafferi. Neither girl is ever winning a title. Roxanne, gotta respect her, getting up there in age. Obviously, she's retiring, so I was really talking about Casey O'Neill. Kyler Phillips, great triangle to armbar against Marcelo Rojo. Marcelo Rojo looked pretty good on the feet in this fight. Kyler Phillips looked like he had better stamina management. He was able to get the submission in the third round. There were some weird tags on the ground. But the reason I wanted to bring up this fight real quick before I get to the questions, and guys, if you have questions, put them in the chat right now. Put them in the chat right now, and I'll get to your questions. But the reason I wanted to talk about Kyler Phillips versus Marcelo Rojo is because, can you guys believe this? These are guys that aren't even ranked at bantamweight, and they're that good. It's insane to me that we have that many great guys within the 135-pound division. You got Sedner Magomedov, you got Jack Shore coming up, you got Usman Nurmagomedov, you got so many great guys, Adriana Yanez, so many great guys that aren't even ranked within the division. Okay, guys, let's get to questions. If you guys haven't already, make sure to like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, let's look at the poll results first. The poll results are just about 60% have Israel Adesanya winning the decision, 41% Robert Whittaker. So about, the majority take Adesanya by decision, but a large percentage, 41% or 40%, just changed, taking Robert Whittaker. That just that's a testament to how close the fight is. Okay, let me scroll back as far as I can and see what you guys are saying. I know this was going to happen. The same people that have gone have Whittaker. I'm going to look for questions here. I picked Izzy to win. Okay. Regardless of who you had, this was a great card. Agreed, Hank Hill. We can agree on that one. Very good card. The main event left a lot to be desired, but overall, a solid card. I had a lot of fun with this card. And by the way, guys, if there's anybody watching this stream and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I do these streams all the time. So it wasn't a robbery. You're using the word robbery wrong. I never called it a robbery, so I hope you're talking to somebody else. They need to headline him to headline UFC Africa. They don't give an F about him. I don't know what you're getting at there. Let's see. Izzy only had 16 more significant strikes, but Rob had 4 takedowns and submission attempts. No way, 49-46. I've given my take on it. What a fun card. I agree, Constantly Growing. I agree. What a fun card. I enjoyed it very much. Not a robbery, but Whittaker edged out the decision. I disagree. Come on, it's obvious that even turning a blind eye to Usman and Adesanya's steroid use. Okay. Until Izzy put me to sleep. The scorecards, though, I didn't think they were particularly bad, other than in some of the earlier fights, there was some bad ones. Bro, I can't believe people are defending a Whittaker robbery. Whittaker lost clearly. I would agree with you, but I do understand why people think it was so close, because it was pretty close. Raymond, what's going on? If you genuinely think Rob won, you're okay. I get Adesanya is a bit of a okay, but open your eyes. Yeah, I think a lot of people score this fight for Robert Whittaker because they really don't like Adesanya. I'm not even a big Adesanya fan myself. I like watching him fight most of the time, but I thought 1 through 3 were pretty clear cut. I will rewatch the fight and give you guys an updated scorecard later on this week. 4 takedowns that he did nothing with, and he didn't even have control time. That's the key factor there. If he would have controlled him for a significant period of time, the Silva fight wasn't that good. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. Whittaker, the real champ. Okay, Izzy controlled the fight, stuffed nearly all the man's takedown. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration there. Not really. Whittaker was boxing Izzy in 3 rounds while getting takedowns and all hooks in on all those rounds. Izzy going to call for calf kicks and body kicks. Damage was on Rob's side. Definitely can win. Okay. Let me get. Okay. Whittaker got outclassed. I think that's a bit of a strong word. It was a very, very close fight. Don't get me confused. I think it was a close fight, but I thought it was clearly for Israel Adesanya. But I understand that, I understand why some people think. But for the vast majority, I just feel like, to summarize the whole fight, Adesanya outstruck Robert Whittaker. And Robert Whittaker got some takedowns and wasn't able to cement control by any means at all. It just didn't happen. So, guys, if you're asking questions, put question marks on the end of it, because I'm going to try to look for questions. He defended multiple takedown attempts. Yes, he did. I know a lot of people we were talking about the Robert Whittaker takedowns, but Israel Adesanya showed great takedown defense in this fight, and Whittaker showed good time takedowns as well. You can have both of those in the fights. You can have one fighter showing they have good takedown ability, and you can have the other fighter showing they have good takedown defense. So, guys, if you have not liked the stream yet, make sure to like the stream. It helps push it out to more people, and we can get more people in here to have this fun discussion. We're already 36 minutes in. See, this is why I wanted to get the questions, so we're not on here for absolutely 2 hours. When Ngannou gets takedowns, it doesn't matter, but when Whittaker does the same exact thing, he won the round. Yeah, I guess you're calling out the hypocrisy of some people. It was close overall, but best card of the year. There was a lot of great fights throughout this card, guys. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Facts. For real, easier said than done. Exactly. I know what you're referring to. Bro, Robert lost 4-1, maybe 3-2 at the very least. Okay, you must be talking to someone else. I'm looking for questions here, guys. Izzy got up immediately every time. Exactly. I don't even like Izzy, and he obviously won. Robert's takedowns did nothing. The same people that are saying Robert Whittaker's takedowns won him the fight are the same people that's saying Gane won because of damage. I've noticed that, I think. If you think, okay, Rob didn't make it clear that he won, man. You make the belt, it's clear. Yeah, I know people say that a lot. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I get what you're saying 100%. People who think Robert won also think Moreno and Gane won. I disagree, because I thought Moreno won, and I thought Ngannou won, and I thought Izzy won. So I'm a little bit different. Thank you, French Fries, for handling the chat for me. Let's talk about Tai versus Lewis. We did. Great fight. I'm looking for questions, guys. I'm looking for questions here. Who else knew Tai would win? Tuivasa mad slept on. I guess he was. Okay, so we're giving Rob a trilogy. He's 0-2 against the champion, but some think he won. Sound familiar, huh? Volk Max 3. At the end of the day, even though I think Adesanya clearly won, these are the two best middleweights in the world. Cannonier would not beat Whittaker. If Adesanya was not there, Whittaker would be the clear-cut champion. And I love that Whittaker made adjustments within this fight, or within his training camp, within the last 2 years, and he was able to do much better in this rematch. There's a lot of good takeaways for Robert Whittaker. I feel like I hit on some of them. We're almost to 100 live viewers, guys. I'm seeing this right now. That is absolutely insane. But Whittaker made some good adjustments within this fight, and I think that, maybe maybe in 2 more years he can make enough adjustments. But it is funny. That is indicative of Volk versus Max. I agree 100%. So let's continue. Tuivasa mad slap on. I'm looking for questions. I voted. Hold on 1 second. Thank you, Oliver, for the $2 super chat. Every dollar goes back into the channel. I will read. Let me see your message. What did you think went wrong with Brunson's wrestling? I don't think anything went wrong, but he should have cemented the position a little bit better. And also, it's just a sloppy on the feet. And as he gets drained and his arms get a little bit tired from looking for the takedowns, and he starts to wear down, it ends up screwing him over in the long run. That's what happens with Brunson. And Jared Cannonier is too good. He's too good on the feet for that. Thank you for the donation. I greatly appreciate it, my friend. I 100% believe. Okay, let's look for questions. Okay, if we're going to be hurling insults in the chat, you know what we're going to get? We're going to get hidden from the channel. That's what we're going to get from now on. If you guys want to hurl insults, we're going to get hidden from the channel. I don't take offense, but I don't like to have to sift through messages I shouldn't have to sift through just because you guys don't like my take, okay? We can have fun, educated MMA discussion, but if we're going to just start name-calling in the chat, that ruins the chat, that takes away from the chat, and then in turn, we're not having as much fun as we can. And that's the point of this. It's to have fun. Israel Adesanya doesn't pay me to say he won. Robert Whittaker doesn't pay me to say he won. I'm just giving you guys my opinion here. So, okay, let's look for more questions. People thought Izzy and Usman lost because they don't like them and will bring up steroids. Yeah, so they're also so good because they're on steroids, but they lose fights and they're still. I don't get it. You know, it's just one of those things. But yeah, if we see anybody hurling insults, any of the moderators that are in here, if we see anyone hurling insults, depending on the severity of it, just hit them with a ban. Hit them with a ban. They're taking away from the chat. That's what we don't need. I thought Robert did enough for a draw at most, but 49-46 was terrible judging. I thought he could have got the first 4 rounds. Okay, round 2 was close. Okay, question marks, guys. Question marks at the end of questions. For now on, what rounds did you score? Okay, you're asking somebody else that question. Dan Miragliotta got brought out back by some Houston gangsters before the fight. I know. What was going on that Dan Miragliotta decided to break up the clinch of Tai Tuivasa that early? What was he doing that he decided that was the good thing to do? You know, Tai Tuivasa is trying to wear on Derrick Lewis for 10 seconds. Let's break him up. I don't get it. Absolutely infuriating. I'm glad you realized it too. Okay. Let's carry on. Oh my God, people voting on this poll for Rob are delusional. Bro, I told you, and it's still for Robert. Well, it ended up being for Israel Adesanya after the fact. Commentary and the judges need to go, though. Yeah, there was a terrible scorecard. Let's quickly touch on that because I meant to touch on that. There was a terrible scorecard for Jarrett Vanderaa. I don't remember how you pronounce his name. And Roxanne Modafferi for 29-28. I thought those were egregious scorecards. And it was the same judge on both ends that did that. Absolutely egregious. How are you scoring the Roxanne Modafferi fight? Modafferi for Roxanne against Casey O'Neill. How are you scoring that 2 rounds to 1 for Roxanne? I just don't see that. I don't know what that guy is smoking, but it's absolutely delusional. Derrick Lewis got Derrick Lewis. He's never fighting in Houston again. Round 2 was the clearest round for Rob. I disagree, but I will go back and rewatch it. Somebody is claiming rounds 2, 3, and 5. Changed my mind. What's your argument? He got outstruck in rounds 2 and 3. 5, I will give you. Ty got him right on the button. Agree. Dan Miragliotta was tweaking, man. I'm glad you guys agree with me on that one. Guys, if you're in here and you have not liked the stream yet, like the stream. That's how we get more people in here and grow the channel. So if you have not liked the stream, go like the stream. Ty's a beast. Next champ. Yes, sir. Let's see. We will see. Now I get how you don't see 270 for gone, but if you don't think Rob won that fight, you weren't sober. Okay, well, I guess a lot of people will disagree with you on that one. How you don't see 270 for gone. Now I get how you don't see 270 for gone. He did nothing. He wasn't able. I mean, he got outstruck for the majority of the rounds, in my opinion. Lewis didn't drop 2 in a row. He beat Dog. You're right. I forgot he had a quick turnaround. Thank you for correcting me on that, Noah Turtle. Sometimes I make mistakes, man. I forgot. I was thinking his last fight was gone in the interim title. But I actually picked him in the Dawkins fight as well. That wasn't that long ago. That was just in December. And I forgot that quick. Round 2 was closest. I'll have to go back and rewatch it tomorrow. Clear. Okay. Brutal elbows. Lewis didn't stop. I think we need to rewatch it. I'm pretty confident that Izzy got it. Yeah. I'm confident that Izzy got it too. I thought it was a pretty clear cut. But I understand that it was close. But I thought there was a lot of clear 10-9s. Knew Jarrett would win. Brunson was gassed by the second. That's sad. Yeah. His grappling ends up gassing him out. His grappling ends up gassing him out. So it's one of those things. They're never doing UFC Africa, guys. You know that, right? Maybe in like 2 years, but I don't get the thoughts on that. We can all argue all day, but either way, it was 3-2, one way or a number, not a robbery. You guys can't disregard takedowns because he didn't hold him down very long. They were still takedowns. Those takedowns easily had more stock than those baby jabs from Izzy. Okay, at least I can respect, you have something behind it, but I disagree with you. Was not a robbery, would agree. They definitely need to do the trilogy. No one wants to see Jarrett fight Izzy. I don't know if anyone wants to. I mean, I guess people want to see the trilogy. Let's do a poll on that before I continue. Do you want the Izzy versus Rob trilogy? Let's ask that in the chat. Okay, let's continue. Unfortunate, close enough, not enough. 2-4 were fake stats, man. I'm telling you, if you look back, Whittaker was more efficient with the takedowns. I never looked at the stats, so I don't know. Go, guys, go vote in the poll. Go vote in the poll. Either way, we'll see them fight again eventually. I hope so. The division's cleaned out, so Whittaker can go get one win and come back. Where are all the Ngannou D-Riders? Rob took him down. Control time is still time and eventually got his back and got a sub. Aren't you going to argue Rob should have won that now, or we are cherry picking now? There was really no control time. Ngannou had serious control time. There's a big difference. Lewis and Brunson over the hill now, both 38. Jared Cannonier's up there in age as well. The only clear rounds in the fight were rounds 1 and 3 for Izzy and round 5 for Rob. 2 and 4 were very tight. Okay, I can agree with that. Brunson was rocked from the clinch hook off the break. Yeah, and then wasn't there a nasty elbow and then the back fist as well? I don't know. I'm going to go back and rewatch it, but I think I said that. I thought I said that. I think there might have been a right hand before the elbow and the back fist as well. What control did Rob have? Go rewatch and you'll see. I will rewatch. Forget the takedowns. Did Izzy even outstrike Whittaker? I think he did. I think he outstruck him for the first 3 rounds at least. Rob had no control whatsoever. I credit him for landing those takedowns, but Izzy got back up with ease. Agreed. Roxanne lost. She clearly lost. It looked like Izzy didn't even outstrike Whittaker. I disagree. I'm dying. I predicted controversial decision to Izzy. Oh, I can imagine a lot of Izzy haters are crying up a storm tonight. I wonder how many of them are disliking this video right now. Lamau in those rounds, keeping someone down for 10 seconds means a lot. Not when you're getting outstruck. Rob's defense was really good. Either way, both guys have nobody to blame but themselves because they weren't active enough. I expected Hernandez to win. I expected Renato Moicano to win. Renato Moicano, I think he's getting up there in age. I don't know exactly what his age is, but let's take a look at that real quick. I can't wait to rewatch this card. This card was amazing. Let's see. Oh, Renato Moicano is only 32. He's been around forever. Insanity to me that he's been around for so long. In the later round, actually, according to Gone Riders, damage trumps all. Yeah, exactly. Adesanya did more damage, so I don't even know if Izzy outstruck. Okay, we read that a million times. 10 seconds, come on. Guess you got to give props to Vettori for taking Izzy down and holding him down longer. Guess he got robbed too. Yeah. Izzy always does just enough to win in tough fights. In fights that Izzy is not pressured, this is what happens. In fights that Izzy is not pressured in. It's a common theme. If Izzy is not pressured, thank you for subscribing. If Izzy is not pressured, then this is typical. This is what happens. He's in more of a boring fight when he's not being pressured. When he has to be the one to move forward, it always happens. The Vettori fight was a little bit of an in-between. It looked like Whittaker outlanded Izzy in the later rounds. A whole bunch of jabs and right hands and left hooks. Maybe in the 5th round. 2 people went to sleep instead of tapping. Yes. I can't remember which ones those were. Let me pull up the card real quick. Let's take a look. It was the early prelims, wasn't it? Yeah, by the way, guys, Blood Diamond got absolutely dominated by Jeremiah Wells. And what a weird start to that fight. Blood Diamond, Mike Mathea, Israel Adesanya's boy, choked to death. And I think, was it Sergey Marozov? I think he was choked out cold too. AJ Dobson looked promising in the first round, but then eventually succumbed to Jacob Malkoun's takedown and offensive control. Yeah, it was a fun card. I mean, the worst fight on the card, Carlos Ulberg versus Fabio Cherant. Other than that, everything was really pretty solid. Pretty solid fight card. Oh no, the chat jumped way down low now. Oh my goodness. I don't know where we are. Okay, let's continue. All right, guys, I'm just going to continue. De Silva fight of the night. That was a crazy fight. Hurt badly early in the rounds. Then comes back to win. Great fight. Bro, you're right. Rob had his back for 7 seconds. Absolute domination. Oh, you're talking to someone else. If only Brunson had decent stand-up. Imagine Brunson's skill set with Israel Adesanya striking and footwork. Ulberg Cherant was a snooze fest. Okay. Thank you. People just hate Adesanya at this point. I agree. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that nowadays. Round 2 and 4 were very close. Okay. O'Neal dominated Roxanne. How was it only a split decision? I don't know, man. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine for that one. Vettori decision, 2-4-5. A lot of Izzy strikes blocked. Okay, but a lot of them landed as well. Israel Adesanya had we can't forget, he chewed up the lead leg of Robert Whittaker. That was the most effective tool of Adesanya. And also, he was slamming the body kick. It wasn't as frequent, obviously, as the leg kick, but he had a lot of success with the body kick. So let's not forget about that as well. Questions, guys. Joey, we need to poll if people want to see Jared Cannonier. Okay, we'll do that in a second. Remind me in a second in the chat. I'm trying to catch up here. Thank you again, Oliver, for the super chat. I made like 1.5K tonight. Tai under 1.5 was fire. You made 1,500 tonight? Is that what you're saying? That's crazy. Congratulations, Hank. Should have Whittaker tried to stay on Izzy's back and fight for the choke when he had it. I think easier said than done, but probably easier said than done, though. It's hard to keep that man down. Hard to control him. Iconic, man, exactly like those fake scorecards. Does Jarrett versus Strickland make sense if they do a trilogy? I think that's the only fight to make if they do a trilogy. I don't want to see a trilogy, man. After this fight, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people clamoring for it. Do you think Jarrett can beat Israel? Me personally, I don't think so. No, I do not. Tai versus Stipe. Tai versus Gane. Tai versus John Jones. How about that one? Joey, who? I don't know what you're saying, Craig, but what's up? When Hamzat is Berm going to be confirmed? Man, that's taking forever. I know. Okay, they so good because of steroids, but yet he's losing. I know. It's hypocritical. You have to expect that as the channel grows, for sure. Thank you for your support, Pitties and SDI. Does Izzy stop Jarrett? Izzy 100% stops Jarrett because Jarrett is going to press forward and look for kill shots, and he's eventually going to get countered. Do you think Izzy's on roids? I think a lot of these fighters are on performance-enhancing drugs, but I don't think there's enough information out there to 100% certainty to say that he is. Izzy wipes the floor with Jarrett. Izzy looked horrible. Both guys didn't look particularly good tonight. You know, there were some things, you know, and it's easier for us to say it. It's two of the best guys in the world going at it. It wasn't as exciting as we had hoped, but we had a feeling of that going in. Roxanne had no head movement. I think the success that Roxanne had within her fight was an indictment on Casey O'Neal's skill set. Not super good. What's next for Tai? I would love to see Tai Tuivasa versus Stipe Miocic. Honestly, though, let's take a look at something real quick, because if Ngannou's out, Tai Tuivasa is going to jump up there. You guys could potentially see Tai Tuivasa in an interim title fight next, because Ngannou needs surgery. How can we get new faces to fight Izzy next? We're going to have Andre Muniz and Nasruddin Imavov, hopefully. They should do Tai versus Stipe next. Let's see what this says. Come on. Yo, I just got home back from the arena. What a great card, Sean Johnson. I hope you had fun. Yeah, if you got to hide them 5 or 6 times, French fries, just ban them. Just ban them completely. Hey, Joey, who wins the Jorge Colby fight, and who are you cheering for? I'm not cheering for necessarily either guy. I lean Colby right now, but I think people are vastly underestimating Jorge. I had it 3-2. Sean Johnson had it 3-2. The man has spoken. He was at the arena, so he knows. Same Sean. No way Usman is scared of Hamzat. I didn't want to see the rematch, let alone a third fight. Okay, there you go. That wasn't like the Max. Yeah, the Max Volk second fight was much closer than this fight. Jarrett has a solid chance against Izzy. I think the most effective way to beat Izzy, other than the effective grappling, is you have to put 5 or 6 punches on him, because sometimes he compensates for his footwork with head movement. And when you lean back and your feet aren't square underneath you, if a guy puts a big combination on you, you can get clipped. We've seen Adesanya do it multiple times tonight, where he backs up just from the waist up. He keeps his feet forward, and you're susceptible to getting clipped if you do that. I don't see it. How would you feel about a Strickland Whittaker fight? I want to see Whittaker versus Paulo Costa, to be honest. I think Max versus Volk 3 goes the same way, and still, I would agree with you. Brunson gassed after first round if there was more time. Brunson dropped Jarrett. He dropped him in the middle of the first round, correct? I got to go back and rewatch. It's crazy how your brain erases this stuff. Rob fought scared and got outstruck. Agreed. Yeah, a bunch of them. He was worried. I like the video, but Robert won. Okay. You called Cannonier Brunson to the T. Just wanted to say congrats. Have a good night, man. Thank you. If you guys haven't seen my prediction video, I called that perfectly. Thank you. It doesn't always happen. I make a lot of mistakes in some fights, but that one I did call perfectly. No Izzy trilogy. Okay, now we're starting to get some question mark. Do you think okay, we already read that. Rob won. Okay. I was screaming when Tai won. Makhachev versus Dariush in 2 weeks. I'm hyped. I am very excited for that one as well. Bisping. Hold on. Now I got lost again. Guys, keep the questions coming. Do not forget to like the stream as well. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the stream. That's how we end up getting growing the channel. So, like the stream, and I would greatly appreciate you. Let's continue. Yeah, okay. I think Brunson was concussed, looked off in the second round. Yeah, he got clipped with a shot early in the second round. And then he looked really weird after that. Even the commentary team picked up on that, which necessarily I don't trust them. And how about Joe Rogan shaping the narrative of the main event? Always Rogan. I think he did something with his hand here. He's touching his hand and something's up. And John Anik had to say that on the broadcast. And I'm so tired of that. Should Bobby fight a number 7 next? A top 7 next? Yeah, he definitely should. I wouldn't mind seeing him against Strickland, but I doubt they're going to do that fight. Stipe versus Jones is the fight to make. Jones versus Ngannou is the fight to make. I don't care if we got to wait till next January. Stipe versus Tai interim title fight. Just fast track Alex Pereira, please. We need to see that trilogy with Izzy. I'm with you on that one, homework. If Jones doesn't want to fight Stipe, do Stipe versus Tai for an interim. That Jorge versus Colby card is terrible. Absolutely atrocious. I did a video about it on the channel. Luckily, it got a little bit better with the adding of Rafael Fiziev versus RDA. But I agree, that card is awful. I think, okay, Dariush is going to be fun. Yes, Munez is going to tell. Ooh, the chat's going crazy tonight, guys. Keep filling it with questions. If you guys have questions, put it in the chat right now with question marks. I'm almost catching up to the live chat now. I'm almost there. The commentary team made the commentary for Ian and Izzy look good. I think the Ian and Izzy commentary was awful. Joey, do you buy the pay-per-view? Yes, I do. Really not a fan of Cormier commentating. Additionally, I hate that Rogan was out, but I'm glad that Bisping was able to fill in. For me, at this point, I hate all of them. But I get it. They're doing this job live. It's not the easiest job in the world. Strickland and Costa and Whittaker and Vettori. Yeah, Whittaker and Vettori can fight for a guy who's not fighting for the title. Best guy who's not ever fighting for the title. He can't make weight. UFC 272 does look weak, but I'm excited to see Marina Rodriguez fight again. Marina Rodriguez versus Yan Xiaonan should be fun. Marina Rodriguez wins. If she wins that fight, that will be amazing to see her potentially move into a contender spot. Do you think Jeremiah Wells has success against Elite 170? Way too early to tell about Jeremiah Wells. But did I not call? I told you guys. I told you guys in the Discord chat. Not that I don't ever say wrong things. I said Blood Diamond is going to lose. Bet the house on it. Something like that. Whenever they hype a guy up because he's related to Habib or he trains with Israel Adesanya or this or that, I never believe in them at all. I never believe in these guys at all. Just because it's usually unwarranted hype. All right, what poll did somebody want? Do you want Izzy Rob trilogy? 55% say no, they don't ever want to see it again. Jeremiah Wells put on a performance. I knew he would. Been telling you about the guy for months now, and he's delivering. Yep. Other than that weird, what did you guys think about that weird circle around the cage? And then he tripped and fell. Imagine had he got finished off of that. If anybody's watching right now and you're not subscribed, go subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And also, if anybody of you guys want to support the channel, I have a membership. The link is in the description, as well as I will post it in the chat. It's $3 a month. I got extra live streams every month. I do these live streams all the time. You got a loyalty badge next to your name, custom emojis, and I post a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff, plus the members-only Discord where you guys can message me directly requesting like videos and stuff like that. The link is in the description, and I also posted it in the chat. Okay, the poll was Izzy versus Jarrett or trilogy with Rob. Okay, let's see that. Let's see that. Now, I think it will be on the main card. I think Marina versus Yan will be on the main card. Which fight would you rather see? Izzy versus Jarrett or Izzy versus Rob 3? Let's see. Sounded like Bisping was watching the fight with one eye. He only has one eye, my friend. He only has one eye. He only has one eye. So I think you'd be right on that one. I think you'd be right on that. Let's see what you guys want. Let's see what you guys want. Okay. Francis leaves and the UFC does an 8-man tournament for the belt. Okay, that's never going to happen. They're going to try to find someone for that belt immediately. Bisping commentary was awful tonight, but coming from a woman who's built his career on undeserved split decisions, I thought Anderson Silva should have got the decision. Marina Rodriguez versus Yan Xiaonan probably opens the main card. Bisping saying he wasn't biased was baffling to me. I don't think he was incredibly wrong. Didn't he score rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 for Izzy, and then round 5 for Whittaker? I thought he alluded to. So based on that, I don't think that was particularly wrong. But I'm not a big fan of the commentary, and they definitely weren't admitting that it was as close as it was. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much right now. Let's see. Let's continue. Let's see. Let's add the sub count to the post fight. Let's see if we end up adding any more subscribers. It'll update as soon as I turn it on. So if you guys are not subscribed, look at that. Make that go up right there. Make that go up. Maybe we can get to 1,220. The channel is growing unbelievably fast. Okay. Questions. What do you guys want questions answered? Okay. What if I absolutely don't want Izzy to fight either of them? Then don't vote. Don't vote then. Maybe I should have said other. Does Carla Esparza deserve title shot against Rose? Yes, she does, and that will be the next fight. Izzy versus Hamza is the next move. The pre-fight press conference will already have money. Jeez, I should have put that as an option. Let's take down the poll. Let's take down the poll. 61% said Rob. Let's do a different poll. Let's do a quick different poll. I got a good one. Which fight would you rather see next? Izzy versus Jarrett. Izzy versus Robert 3. Add option. I think I can add up 4 options. Izzy versus Khamzat, or I like how I put the subtotal up and a bunch of people unsubscribed for fun. There's probably people who were trolling earlier who subscribed to the channel just to troll. Okay, guys, go vote in this one. Yeah, I don't see Jarrett versus Izzy being competitive either. I mean, Jarrett Cannonier has good striking. It's nowhere near to the technical ability of Israel Adesanya. Okay. Let's continue. Enough with the immediate trilogies. I'm with you on that one, man. I don't want to see it right now. I am not interested in Jarrett versus Izzy, but I'm tired of rematches over and over and over. It's ridiculous, especially the Moreno thing going on. Enough is enough. I want to see divisions move on. I understand where you're coming from. I have to see the Moreno fourth fight. You know, we have all these debacles. Bro, this poll was horrible. We don't want to see either of those fights. Well, there you go. I gave you a different poll. Yeah, I misspoke then. I misspoke. Khamzat putting Izzy body bag. I mean, he's definitely he has a weakness in the wrestling, but he's able to get back up. I'm curious how him versus Khamzat would go. But we have never seen Khamzat fight someone the level of Israel Adesanya yet. So I don't know. Looks like everyone wants to see Izzy versus Khamzat. Khamzat has beaten nobody in the top 10 in any division, and people want to see him get 2 title shots. And I don't disagree with you guys either. I'm not saying I do. I just don't say, okay, read that. I'm the biggest Khamzat fan, but he needs to beat Burns and claim the welterweight fight, then talk about moving up. But yes, I think he mauls Izzy. There you go. Same David. Khamzat has a good chance. I mean, we've seen where Israel Adesanya has the holes in his game. His holes in his game are being taken down and held down. And Khamzat can definitely take him down, but can he hold him down and control him there? I think it's very possible. But you never know. You never know until the fight happens. I mean, look what he did to Jack Hermanson, but I don't see Jack Hermanson outstriking Israel Adesanya at all. I just don't see it happening. I don't want to see anyone fight 4 times. Okay, I would have liked to seen Jose Aldo Chad Mendes go on 4 times. I think Khamzat just chain wrestles Izzy to death, even if Izzy can get up. He just never lets go. I feel like I got a hair in my mouth now somehow. Like what Khabib did to Abel Trujillo. Why does this keep happening to me? I definitely got a hair. Okay, got it. Thank God. Yeah, Khabib did to Abel Trujillo. He took him down like 150 times. Do you like Ian Gary? I don't necessarily like him. Don't dislike him. But still too early to tell how good he is. Did not had a promising debut. Khamzat is also 6'2", so size isn't going to be a big difference. Khamzat is realistically a middleweight, so he can barely make 170. Okay. Betting on De Silva and Kyler, great bets. How many water bottles do you drink a day, Joey? Probably about 8 a day. So something like that. You guys don't realize when you get on here and talk for an hour or an hour and 20 minutes, your mouth starts to get very, very dry. So many divisions have dominant champs right now. Agreed. Good stuff. I made a deposit mistake, so my money got sent to the void. That sucks. Should Robert go to 205 or 170? I don't think he can. He ain't going to 205. Robert would get wrecked at 205. He's got to go to 170 if he goes anywhere, or wait for Izzy to lose. He's bound to lose eventually. It's just the laws of averages. One of Izzy's major flaws was visible tonight. As soon as he gets on the ground, he wants to get back up and is susceptible to getting submitted. Izzy gives his back up way too easily. Khamzat going to win. He left himself open. I think Robert Whittaker almost had a rear naked. He didn't almost have it, but he was looking to lock it in. They need better fights on 272. I would agree. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. I'm really disappointed in next week's fight card. It's not good. But I'll be doing a Jamal Hill versus Johnny Walker prediction very, very soon. I guess it is what it is. They were talking about a big co-main event, and it ended up being It ended up being RDA versus Rafael Fiziev getting moved from next week's card to UFC 272. I never want to see Jacob Malkoun fight again. He looked terrible even in winning. He just hung on for dear life the entire fight. So, all right, guys, keep the questions coming. We'll go as long as we have questions. This is a big live stream tonight. I mean, Israel Adesanya defeats Robert Whittaker. That's crazy. Wasn't as good of a fight as I would have anticipated, but it was still fun. It was still fun. Just the anticipation of it. The first round was phenomenal, in my opinion. The first round was super technical. Then you had Izzy dropping him with the straight left. You had Whittaker shooting in on takedowns, but Adesanya defending him. What do you want to see more? Dustin versus Nate or Conor versus Nate 3? Conor versus Nate 3 for sure. If Izzy gives his back to Khamzat, it's a wrap. Okay. Glad Izzy didn't jump the guillotine this time like he did with Jan. Agreed. I think Hill beats Walker. Agreed. Most likely. Got to look into it more, though. Rob can definitely beat Izzy in the third fight, but needs a few more wins first. Agreed. I think Rob will get destroyed if he moved up. He's never moving up. Why can't they add Khamzat versus Burns to 272? Like common, that would elevate the card to a new level. I don't know what's going on. I bet you it's a contract situation with Khamzat Chimaev. I'm willing to bet it is a contract situation with Khamzat Chimaev. There's no reason they ain't getting this guy back in the cage. He smashed Li Jingliang at UFC 267 back in October, and it's been radio silent since. It's got to be a contract issue between the UFC and Khamzat Chimaev because he probably has some shitty deal. His name is now blown up, and his manager's saying, we need more money before we're fighting. And I think that's the holdup. Maybe it's visa issues. I don't know. That's just my best guess. Why can't they? Okay, read that. Joey, do you think Luke Thomas is a soy? Define what you mean, and I will answer that question. But I don't really understand the question. I'm not really too familiar. I kind of get soy as an insult. What does it mean? You're sensitive? Is that what it's supposed to mean? Jeez, that scared the crap out of me. Thank you for subscribing. I greatly appreciate you. When's Tom Aspinall loses to Volkov, he should fight Tai next. Why would they book a loser versus Tai? They need a winner versus Tai. Who do you think would win? Nate Conor trilogy? I think Nate would win. And I think he would stop him via submission. I think he hurt him. Be similar to the first fight. But at this point, do you think Jorge Colby beef is real? I think it's manufactured, but who knows? Maybe it is real. We'll see. We'll see. I think they wanted to fight each other for the belt, and now both of them have lost for the title twice. So now they're just getting their money. I think we'll find out eventually in years from now that it was all fake. Could be contracts deservedly, so his value is way higher than what he's getting paid. Agreed. But Tai will most likely fight Blades Dawkins winner. I wouldn't mind Tai versus Rosenstrike, though, if he beats Tabora. Tai's in a good spot right now. Tai's definitely in a good spot. Sam Alvey versus Israel Adesanya next. Book it. I would love to see that fight. At least we would get a borderline exciting fight. Imagine Sam Alvey stepped in on short notice to fight Israel Adesanya and just somehow slept him. How insane would that be? I'd like to see Izzy versus Khamzat or Izzy versus Strickland. It's going to be Cannonier. Cannonier got a big win over Derrick Brunson tonight. That's going to be the next fight for sure. It's going to be the next fight. We are going to see Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier next. That's what's going to happen. I can almost guarantee it unless there's an injury. That's a very winnable matchup. That's a very favorable matchup to Adesanya. He said he wants to fight in June, and the UFC is going to book it. This was a robbery. Nah, I disagree with you, man. I did not think it was a robbery, and I did not think it was even close to being a robbery. So, I'm sorry that we disagree. If Usman beats Edwards, can we realistically see him retiring? He has said that he wants to retire on top, and I think he knows Khamzat is next in line. It's going to be a real bad look if he does. It's going to be a really bad look if he retires with Khamzat waiting in the wings. Agreed, I think it was all about them fighting for the belt, and then when they both got beat twice, they settled for what they could get, which is why we finally got the fight. Agreed 100%. I think that's the case. Whew. Izzy versus Cannonier in June with Rose Carlos co-main, possibly. Yeah, and they don't have an event for June yet. I agree, Joey. I was just being realistic saying they are going to do Izzy versus Jared, even though most people don't want to see it. Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense next. Izzy's going to want it because it's a favorable matchup to him. And that's why he's been saying, Jared Cannonier, he's the dark horse in the division and blah, 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 blah. Because he wants that Jared Cannonier fight because that's a very stylistically friendly fight for him. Does Izzy go back to 205 for Glover? Absolutely not. You know what Glover would do to him? Glover would absolutely wreck Adesanya. I think he would give him a career-altering beating. I think Israel Adesanya versus Glover Teixeira would leave him with a career-altering beating. That's how bad that would be. Do you think Tai can hang with Gane or Francis? Francis maybe, Gane no way. And I know that's weird because Gane just lost to Francis. I'd pick Gane and Francis over Tai, but I think Tai could have a better chance against Francis as Francis slows down. And Tai's got a hell of a chin. Tai Tuivasa. Biggest, let me know in the chat, what are your guys' biggest takeaways from tonight? Biggest takeaways from me, Adesanya, even though he got taken down, great takedown defense. Tai Tuivasa, amazing chin, absolutely phenomenal chin. And Jared Cannonier, great takedown defense, great ability to get back to his feet, and does not give in easily. So there's some of my good takeaways right there. Also, Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, are they the two best middleweights in the world? Whittaker would beat Jared Cannonier in a rematch. It's unfortunate that was not a 5-round fight to begin with. It should have been. We're over. The Blood Diamond and Carlos Ulberg were overhyped. I said that before the fight. I said that. Old man, imagine if Jarrett wins and the whole division is a mess. A lot of you guys would be happy if Jarrett wins. A lot of you guys would be happy for sure. Old man Glover, don't mess with him. Okay, yeah, old man Glover would old man throw Adesanya to the ground and just beat the living shit out of him. I hope we can get Yuri versus Adesanya at some point. That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun, but I think Yuri's just too big and too strong for him. Tai surprised me tonight. His chin held up really well. Consider him elite heavyweight now. I would agree with you. Yeah, it's favorable to Izzy, and he gets another successful title defense. Adesanya will get destroyed by Glover on the ground. Agreed. Biggest takeaway, heavyweight is still trash. Tai might be one fight away from a title shot. I agree. He might not even be one fight away. He might be sooner. Ronnie Lawrence probably going to fight someone like Ode Osborne next. Okay, you're talking to him? Yeah, I agree. Tai having a better chance with Francis than Gane. Bro, Joey, I just got in a fight with one of my best friends, Alcohol Man. Sorry to hear that, Big Rocker. Hope everything's all right, and I hope you enjoyed the fight card tonight. That sucks, man. People in alcohol do crazy stuff. But I'm here to take my mind off of it. We'll ask some questions, man. Anybody else have any questions? What have I not covered tonight? What have I not covered? The card delivered. The main event was lackluster. I thought Israel Adesanya took 3 to 4 rounds within this fight. A lot of people think otherwise. And I kind of get it. It was close, but I think Izzy clearly won. I can't wait to rewatch it and give you guys my official scorecards after I rewatch the fight. But anyway, it was a great night. It was an absolute amazing night. There were so many great fights. Good to have a pay-per-view back. Just kind of sucks really, really bad that the next pay-per-view is garbage. Let's take a look. They showed it tonight. UFC 272 in 3 weeks. Rafael Dos Anjos versus Rafael Fiziev, co-main event. We all know Covington versus Masvidal. Barboza, Bryce Mitchell, Kevin Holland, Alex Oliveira does not belong on a main card. And for the love of God, stop jamming Greg Hardy down our throat on main cards. I'm so tired of that. How far is 273 after 270? So it's a whole month. We got to wait 4 weeks for the next pay-per-view. I just can't wait to see Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan. That's the fight I need to see badly. Okay, I'm going to end this poll. Most people want to see Izzy versus Hamzat next, apparently. Dang, I got far behind on the chat, and I was just gone for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Imagine they feed Tai to Gane. They might very well. At least I won Izzy by decision, Bet, and Jarrett by TKO. Matter of fact, let me actually go check something real quick. Let me go check something. I got to go to my official predictions. I don't need to go to this. I don't need to go to this. Okay. Let's see. So, title fights 2-1. Main events 3-1. Official predictions. I did 3 official predictions. I got 2 right. So 6 and 1 wrong. 4. So I am now 2-1 in title fights. I am 3-1 in main events. And I am 6-4 in my official predictions. I will go add that to the description of this live stream so that anybody who wants to find it can find it. And that way I can keep track of it. That's not a bad record so far. That is not a bad record. Okay. How many fights to the title for Casey? Maybe 2 or 3. The division is lackluster. Thoughts on Dustin say he will never fight Colby in the UFC? I think that's a missed opportunity. If they have the real beef there, why not make a good amount of money? If you want to fight him in the streets anyway, you're never going to fight him in the streets, bro. So you can go to jail? I think it's the dumbest thing he ever said. We're going to watch it in the Discord tomorrow? Probably. If not, this week for sure. Why Casey O'Neill screamed like that in the octagon? It was so cringy, and she was trying to go for fight of the night. I don't know. When you're getting the hands put on you by a 40-year-old woman, and she got busted up pretty good by Roxanne Modafferi. I don't know why you're screaming. It was cringy as hell. Just take me to the next Hamzat fight card. Do you think Floyd is broke? I have no idea. I doubt it, but that's always a possibility. Who should Brunson retirement fight be? I think Gastelum. Gastelum has a fight. Who should he fight? Who should he fight? Who should he fight? Let him fight Jack Hermanson, I guess. I don't know. That's the best I can come up with off the top of my head. Hamzat versus Bobby Knuckles is the fight to make. Have you ever been chin checked? No. 3-2. Rob. Moicano had a pretty good 145-pound run. How far do you think he gets at 55? I don't think he gets super far. Did you get B-dubs, Joey? No, I did not. Brunson can fight Jack Hermanson's retirement fight, but I guess I honestly don't care about him anymore. Yeah, me neither. Would you go to Blade's Dawkins card in person if it was in Baltimore instead of Columbus? Yes, I would. I would go to any card that was nearby me for the most part. You know, depending on the prices and everything like that. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this for now. Apparently, we're not going to go any higher up, and we're going to go in a little bit. We're almost to an hour and a half, guys, on the stream, on the post-fight stream. We've talked about it all. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the chat right this very second. I know there's over 50 people watching right now. I know you guys have a bunch of questions. So put them in the chat. We'll go for a little bit longer before we end this. Any hot takes? Apparently, this guy says UFC is so rigged right now. What would be the reason for rigging it for Izzy? I don't particularly see a reason specifically for that. Was this pay-per-view better than 270? Yes, it was on paper and in reality as well. Favorite moment of the card? It's got to be... I don't know, man. I'm thinking the Tuivasa Lewis fight was just incredible. But favorite moment of the card? I really enjoyed De Silva Andrade versus Sergio Morozo. But I don't know, man. I don't know what the favorite moment was. I don't really have a favorite moment. I'm not like a huge Tai Tuivasa fan. I like watching him fight. Not a big fan. Particularly don't dislike him. So it's not like I got crazy about that. But I guess the most exciting fight was Tai Tuivasa, Derrick Lewis. So favorite moment of the fight was watching that. For sure. Let's see. Yeah, definitely. If you can't see it, that's perfect with me. Let's just continue. Yeah, De Silva fight was insane. It got fight of the night. It deserves to be fight of the night. Okay. Well, 1777 memorabilia, the dumbest YouTube channel name ever. We can just go ahead and get rid of you. We can go hide this user from channel, and now we will never see him again. Nobody will ever see any of his messages again. He will fade off into oblivion. He will unsubscribe to the channel, and we will never see him again, and we will never be able to see him again. So, and I saw that. So, goodbye. And moving on to people who we actually want to have fun, educated MMA discussion with. Goodbye forever. RIP. RIP. We don't need detractors, man. We don't need detractors. I'm perfectly fine. I love to hear counter opinions. I never want to live in an echo chamber of my own opinion, but there's reasonable ways to articulate an opposite opinion, and plenty of you guys have done it tonight. Carlos Ulberg underperformed tonight. What are your thoughts on him? I thought he got boxed up badly in the first round. I thought that it was a Nick Maximoff performance there. It was just hold on for dear life. Wasn't super impressive. Or wait a second. Hold on. Am I mixing up fights right now as I'm being tired here? Ulberg, never mind. For some reason I was thinking Malkoun. Carlos Ulberg, I guess because they all train with Izzy, looked absolutely awful tonight. He was standing out of way. Bisbank said it best. He was fighting like Luke Rockhold. He was not super aggressive. The fight was awful. Probably the worst fight on the card. Not high on him at all. You know, all these guys are hyped up because they train with Israel Adesanya and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, for me, lackluster performance. He got clipped a few times. The guy he fought really wasn't fighting at all. He was just fighting to survive. And I think he really underperformed. And I think I'm not really high on his skill set. He leaves his chin out there. His striking doesn't look particularly world-class by any means. And he's fighting an opponent that he was probably going to... He was really, you know, set up with the win and win impressively. And he didn't look that good. So that was my thoughts on him. Will Bobby Green crack the top 15 with his win? He probably should. Hey, Joey, do you do Tapology picks? I do Tapology picks for the only ones that I do videos on to kind of keep track of my predictions. My Cannonier versus Derrick Brunson, I encourage all you guys to go check out the prediction video. I'm very happy with that. I got that one spot on. They should rebook Oren Coos versus Blood Diamond. Was that the original fight? I don't even remember that. Tony versus Bobby. That's not a bad fight. Casey got busted by a 40-year-old. Funny stuff. Didn't I just say that, or are you just reiterating what I said? Yan got submitted by a 40-year-old as well. Yes, he did. And Yan isn't Yan a 40? No, Yan's like 39, isn't he? Usman versus Whittaker for the welterweight title. Who you got since he loses to Izzy twice? I think Usman would beat him. I think it's competitive. I just don't trust Whittaker draining himself down to welterweight after all these years. So I'll go with the natural welterweight. But Usman coming up to fight Whittaker, I think Whittaker wins. Because I don't think Usman's taking him down, and I think Whittaker has the far superior striking. I think that for sure. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. Well, guys, unless you have any last-minute questions, we went an hour and a half almost. Do not forget to like the stream. Run up the likes on the stream. There will be plenty of content coming very, very soon on the channel. Plenty of videos. Read my last message. Your last message was, Joey, read my last message. And your last message before that I already read. And I reacted to and laughed at. And I said the same thing as well. So I don't know what we're getting at there. Did I miss something else? I don't see anything. If Whittaker or Vicente Luque, if he moved down. Are you saying if they fought, who would win? I would go Whittaker. But it's kind of hard for me to pick him when you look at, you know, the guy moving down after so many years. Yeah, I only see the one about Casey getting busted up by a 40-year-old. Funny stuff. That's what I said, right? I don't see anything else. Sucks when fighters are just one level below the champ, like Rob, Max, Colby. It would be champs in those divisions that didn't exist. Yeah, I agree. Yep. The Colby Jorge promo was pretty hyped. Yeah, I guess so. A lot of people are looking forward to that fight. All right, guys. It has been an hour and a half. We are going to wrap up this post-fight. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. to talk about UFC 271, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker. The one before the Casey message. It's disappeared, man. It's gone. My favorite moment was when Lewis lost twice in his hometown. Okay, there you go. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I think RDA 5-round favors him. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for the UFC 271 post-fight. Look out for UFC 271 content coming tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't liked the stream already, go like the stream. It was a crazy, wild message stream tonight. I'm going to go back and rewatch some fights and have some more content coming out this week. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to the channel. Thank you for everyone who stuck around and listened to me tonight. There was majority, 50 to 60 people in here, the majority of the night. At one point, we were almost to 100 people. I appreciate you guys. We'll see what comes out in the other post fights, interviews, and whatnot. Appreciate every single one of you. Enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you so much for watching.